Robert Short owned radio station WRDS in Syracuse, New York for 5 years. Now he calls himself a professional citizen, and on this night he leads choir practice at Bethany Baptist Church in Syracuse.
It does make me sometimes feel like I'm empty. You know, what do I do? Because I'm not involved with it. But life goes on.
Syracuse, New York, remains one of the largest cities without a full-time, full-service FM radio station serving the African American community.
Radio has come a long way since its infancy, one made up of vacuum tubes and reel-to-reel tape.
We are not the first on this day, because in 1950, Bob Hope made his first television appearance. Can we hear for Bob?
All right, Bob.
We have brought back Salt City Communications, an African American owned media company with the goal of purchasing a radio station in Syracuse to serve the black community. We want to help stimulate black businesses and personal growth, and provide the information and entertainment the Syracuse community needs from an organization sensitive to the needs of the black community.
Radio is still an intimate medium, and it's still the kind of thing that requires you to have a one-on-one with your audience. So
Salt City is owned and operated by Butch Charles, a media veteran with over 40 years of media management and prior ownership experience. We need your help to help move this project forward. Salt City Communications is requesting $50,000 to initially lease and operate a local broadcast facility. This would provide a service to our community at no cost to the residents, as long as they have a radio. A station has become available that we would like to operate under a local marketing agreement with an option to purchase and make black-owned. This funding would allow us to begin operating almost immediately, while having the time to raise and create revenue to ultimately purchase the station. We will sign a local marketing agreement. At the close of 2 years, it would be our goal to then purchase the station so it is black-owned. The purchase amount is estimated at nearly $900,000. If the money is raised prior to the 2 years, we will opt to buy early. The black community will have a radio station that can provide an outlet for their voice and the promotion of their interests.
What's lost here is ownership of your own voice and control. That's what's really lost.
The presence of a black radio station will help black businesses to grow and reach their consumer market. Cultural black events are scheduled and businesses are created, but companies have no way to promote their products or services to the community at large. The black community will have direct communication, offering information about economic opportunities, cultural learning, and valuable content such as health and wealth. Various projects, such as the Interstate 81 project, are coming and presenting key opportunities that the black community can take advantage of, but only if they can be reached en masse. When COVID struck Syracuse, health officials lacked an efficient way to communicate to the population most affected by the pandemic. Then Governor Andrew Cuomo also declared the first in the nation gun violence disaster emergency, a problem that has long plagued the city of Syracuse. Having ownership of voice will allow for mass communication to the community, encouraging anti-violence sentiments, strategies, and updates. Lastly, the community will benefit from hearing entertainment programmed and coordinated by the people that are from the culture and understand it. Salt City will be partnering with Donovan Welsh, an African-American veteran media sales executive with over 30 years' experience in the nation's #1 radio market. His expertise will allow us to sustain the project through building revenue streams to fund the station in the future. We will also be partnering with local, black-led, non-profit organizations and nonprofits that superserve the black community to ensure that their message and services reach the community at large through public service announcements and interviews.
The Federal Communications Commission in 1996 relaxed the limits on the number of stations one company can own in a community. The rules changes fueled a buying frenzy in the late 1990s as large corporations pressured independents to sell. Many owners did, taking offers that had never been more lucrative. The standalone stations that are left find themselves competing against companies that can have up to 8 stations in the same market.
The consolidation of the radio industry following the Telecommunications Act of 1996 forced smaller mom-and-pop black-owned stations out of business. The Syracuse market is a perfect example of this. At one time, Syracuse had 2 black-owned radio stations. Black equity and excellence means controlling our own voice.
If the black community owns no radio stations and owns no television stations and owns no newspapers, then the only message that it receives comes from the white community. Now you might say, well, what's the big deal? But it's never reversed. The white community does not allow the black community to give it all of its information. Where would I be?
What's lost is ownership and control of your own voice. It means being able to boost black economic development through representation of black businesses and agencies, giving the community access to opportunities. It means being able to address community issues with the sensitivity required to make a dent in the social hurdles Syracuse faces. We would own, operate, and program the station rather than being subject to the non-local cookie-cutter programming from larger white-owned corporations. We plan on sustaining the project first and foremost through community buy-in and participation. Our focus will be on supporting and promoting black businesses in the community. They in turn will support through advertising. The lease and eventual purchase of the station starts out with built-in revenue from barter programming and advertising that we will be able to maintain. We will not be starting from scratch. Our goal is to also generate revenue through advertising sales and sponsorships. We will be seeking additional funding through investment and/or participation from a bank or financial institution. We also plan on developing non-traditional streams of revenue, such as promotion of concerts and other family-oriented events.